Hey everybody, it's Diana with Stamping with Di. Welcome to my channel and this week's Teach Me Tuesdays, episode 209. And I'm going to be doing a watercolor card today. And this is actually one of the cards that I did for my January class in the mail kit. And it is such a pretty card that I wanted to share with you. So I also will show you the other cards that were done. So you want to, if you I have never done one of my class in the mail kits, I would love for you to try at least one to see how they are. I really enjoy bringing those to you. And right now the class in the mail for February are the Fluffiest Friends bundle, and I still have a few of those left, so make sure you check that class out. And this is for USA delivery only because I am a United States, I'm Canadian, but I'm a United States demonstrator because I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Like I said, my name is Diana, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona. So I want to welcome you for being here. So yeah, I thought it would be fun to show you how I did this card. And I've been watercoloring a little bit more lately, like I used to. Oh my gosh, years ago, that's all I ever did. And then we got the Stampin' Blends, and then I just kind of always use the blends, but once in a while I'll pull out my water painter and I'm like, why don't I do this more often? So after doing that class, I was like, I have to show this card because I love it. All right, so I'm going to stop blabbing and I'm going to spin the camera. So close your eyes for a second while I get my camera adjusted. So I'm going to be using the Blueberry Bunches, and this is such a nice set. I have used it several times before, and it's just a great size if you like to color. You can just totally do this without coloring it as well, but it's just such a pretty one. So let me show you these cards. So these were the cards that everybody made that did my class in the mail kit. So here's one here, and this one was colored with the blends. So I love how that one turned out. And everybody got a pack of the Meandering Meadows, and that's what this the DSP is in the background there. They also did this one here, and I changed the color of the blueberries, and because you know what, we are our own artists, we can have any color fruit. And then I was like, well, maybe there is such a fruit or that color, but I don't know. Then we did this one here, and this one is very similar to the layout of the guts for the month of February. So I showed my goodies in the guts the other day. And then there's this one here, which is super cute, using that die that does the happy birthday, and this also was colored with the blends. All right, now this is the card that I'm going to do today, and this one is watercolored, so it's stamped on watercolor paper and using the water painter. So this is the card that I'm going to do today. All right, so let me get my stuff here. Let me show you the dies that I used. So the dies that are used are the stylish shapes and then the deckled circles. And I love this deckled circles because look at all of the sizes that you get. So this one right here, and what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is it 7? Well, the 7th one works perfect with this stylish shapes right there. That's the bigger of the stylish shapes. All right, so let me bring this over here. Excuse my reach, I'm making a shadow when I do that. Okay, so this is just our watercolor paper, and then I just die cut it out ahead of time. We are going to be watercoloring, so I'm going to use the Stays-On pad. And I'm just going to use the little hay there. And I just want to see how straight I have this mounted. I don't think I have it mounted super straight. So I need to bring that down a little bit. So I just use my grid sheet. So I'm looking through So I'm looking through at my label, and then I want my label, so I'm using the grid sheet line. So I think I'm lining it up with that line by looking at the label, and then I see oh, it's crooked. So then I know when I stamp it for real, I just need to, kind of put it off to the side, turn it whatever way is crooked, and then it's good. But what's nice about doing it on a circle, it's a little easier to manipulate, so it's not as bad. And then I'm going to do the blueberry, and this is just going to be sticking around the corner there. So that also is easy enough to make it work with if my hello was a little crooked. All right, so there we have our pretty little whatchamacallits, our blueberries. All right, now I'm just going to wash this really quick. This stays on. It will stain your stamps, so it's best if you wash it when you're done. All right, so I'm washed that and my greeting. Now they're ready for if I want to use them with something else, and I'll just let them air dry off to the side there. Okay, so now let's get coloring. Now I have my little makeup round, my cotton round that I use to keep my water under control when I'm using my water painters. And then I have all three here just to show you the difference. So you have like a big brush one, and I have this marked as alcohol because when I was using it with the blends and the alcohol, this is the one I use, so I just kind of marked that. Then you have this one, which is a medium kind of size, and then you have like a real skinny one. Now the thing with these water painters, you'll just fill them in the sink, or you can use distilled water or whatever if you have hard water. But they are the opposite. So where you think you go like this to open them, you do the opposite. So I don't know why, but that's just, how they are. So if you're used to righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, it's totally different for these. All right, so I have just filled them with some water. And I'm just going to give them a squeeze and make sure it's clean from when I used it before. Now the lid does not really fit in there tight, so I just usually set it on the table beside me so it's not flying all over the place when I'm painting. All right, so this should be good and dry by now. Now I'm going to use, these are the colors. I'm using Azure Afternoon, Blueberry Bushel, of course, we are coloring blueberries, Pecan Pie, and Lemon Lime Twist. And I'm going to use the Azure, I don't know, I always say it wrong, Afternoon, and I'm just going to use that around the edge of the, I'm like looking for my finished one. Hold on a minute. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so I'm just going to use the Azure around in here to make it look like sky. So I'm just going to give it a squeeze because I want it fairly diluted. So I'm just squeezing it in the lid and using this as like a paint palette. Let me get a little bit more diluted there. Okay, and I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to put a little Azure, and this is just going to give me like there's sky back here around. So it's not really, I'm not really doing like a shadow line like I usually do. It's just to put like a sky look. So I'm going to get another squeeze, and then I'm going to really come out. I'm going to take some of that color off. And now I'm going to go over this again, and I've got wet on my brush. I'll squeeze it over my cotton round, and then I'm going to come over here and soften some of these lines so they're not so bold. There we go. So now they're just not really in your face when we're looking at them. And you can do that for a while because the classic inks are water-based, so you're able to move that color around for a while before it's really soaked in and you can't. So now you have this really pretty azure blue in there. All right, so I'm going to squeeze. Now we want to make sure that this is all the way dry. If this is wet anywhere and I go in and I color, the color will pull into, you know, the wet area. So just make sure it's good and wet, or I mean good and dry. All right, you can use your heat gun if you're not sure, or we can just give it a minute. All right, so I'm going to come in with my pecan pie. So we're going to do our stems. So I'm just going to go over with this, just to make sure if there's any wet, it'll kind of come off there. But it feels pretty good. You just don't want to be able to see that water, right? Okay, because that watercolor paper is so great for blending your color out that it will follow wherever that water is. All right, so now pecan pie, I'm going to use that for my stems. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to get a little bitty pecan, and we're just going to come into here. And I think I'm going to switch my brush. And I'm going to do the smaller. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. It was like I could feel that sneeze coming from my toes. All right, so I'm going to use the smaller of the brush because the pecan, like the little stem's kind of tiny, so I want to be able to get into there pretty good. All right, we've been having such crazy weather. It's either warm or now we're getting rain. So I just feel like I have allergies. All right, so we have our pecan, and I'll come back to the pecan. All right, then we're going to take our blueberry, and we're going to color our blueberries. But like I did with the azure, I want to get this fairly diluted. And we're going to just color our blueberries, but I don't want it to be super dark. That's a great color right there. So I'm going to color all of my blueberries. And I like the water painters because they stay, you can load them quite a bit with your color. If you're using a blender pen, you have to keep going back and forth. So that's why I also love using the water painters. So there's our first coat of our blueberry bushel. And the same thing, just like I wanted to make sure that this azure was dry as well, we want to do the same thing with our blueberries. If I go in and automatically start using a darker color, and this is still wet, it's just going to pull that darker color in there. But I want to be able to use the same blueberry bushel ink, but get several colors out of the same ink pad. So I'm going to go in to where I got some of the dark, and we're going to add a little bit more ink so that we have, so see now it's darker, but it's the same pad. So we're just going to go in here and add that. I'm going to kind of stay away from that little flower in the center of the blueberry because I want that to be that light color. And we're doing this with the same ink pad. And I'm just going in there like that. But see, it's a little bit darker. And you've seen me color these blueberries with the blends. And it's basically the same technique with the water painter. So same thing. I'm going around the edge here. around this little guy here. All right, so they're a little bit darker now. All right. Okay, so make sure that's good and dry, and you can just gently touch it and you'll be able to tell, because I'm not really adding a lot of water to this when I'm coloring. All right, so now again, I want to get it a little bit darker, so I'm going to go in where all this color is concentrated in there and get a little darker, and then I just usually come over onto my grid sheet, and then I can see that, okay, that's not dark enough, or it's too dark, or whatever. All right, then we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go around our edges. And now we've got even more darker blueberries. So I like the smaller brush because I'm able to be a little more delicate and be a little more particular where I'm putting my colors. Ooh, there's nice and dark. Because that blueberry would be getting dark because the other one would be over top of it. So if you're not sure, just use the lines that the artist put on these blueberries when they drew it. Okay. I also want to put a little dark in the center of that flower. I don't know what I keep calling it a flower. I really don't know what the center of that blueberry is. Let me put a little dark there. I don't know what that is, right? All right, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get quite a bit of that. And I'm just going to add it here and there. So again, it's fairly dark. So I'm not putting tons. I just want a little more darker where that blueberry overlaps that other one. Okay. And you could keep going darker and darker and darker. But I'm getting where I'm kind of liking the looks of these. And just like with the azure, if I want to blend out some of these lines, I just take this. I have got all the colors off of it. So now it's just kind of a wet paintbrush. And I can come back in and soften some of these lines a little bit. It might just be too stark. So just like we did on the azure, it stays wet for a while so that we're able to do that. But I think that looks good. What do you think? What do you think? I think I like the look of that. Now, this one that I showed you before, you can see the difference. So this one, I really went in and added that blueberry like really, really dark. So this one, I've kept a little bit of a softer look. So if you keep at it, you would get this look. But I'm liking this one. It's a little bit different than the other one. All right, now we want to do our leaves. And I'm going to clean and squeeze and make sure that that's good and clean. I'm going to use my lemon lime twist. And this one needs a little bit of ink. So I'm just going to do my refill. And then I've got some nice concentrated color there. All right, but just like before, we need to make sure this is good and dry. So I went in there, remember, and I took my water painter when it was just wet and softened some of those lines. So I wet this more than normal. So I just want to make sure it's good and dry. It feels pretty good. Just because if I go in with my green and this blueberry's wet, it'll pull that green. into my blueberry. Or if this is a little bit wet and I put water here, that blueberry can travel into the lemon lime twist. So you just want to give it a little time to dry. So if you're doing this at home, you can wait longer than I am on here with the video. I'm going a little bit quicker than I would be if I'm just, you know, coloring all of myself at home without you. Okay, so I'm going to take my lemon lime, and again, I'm just going to make sure that that's good and like a light color. And we're going to come in and color our leaves. I love lemon lime twist. I'm so glad we brought this back. This is one that we had, oh my gosh, I don't know how long ago. And it's just such a fun, happy green. Okay, so that's one coating of the lemon lime twist. Now I'm going to go up in here, just like I did with the blueberries, and grab a little bit more of that lemon lime, so it'll be a little bit darker. And we're going to go into our leaves, and we're going to make it a little bit darker. But I still want it to be light on the edge, so don't go all the way to the end. You just want to kind of get in that center there, because you still want your edges to be that light. But this way we're just getting multiple colors with only a few pads. All right, so we're going to let that dry quite a bit. Before it does, if you look at plants, and I have mentioned this several times when I've colored, if you look at plants as they're growing and the leaves are growing, there's almost like a brown shade to them as that leaf is growing. So I want to add a little bit of the pecan. So I'm going to give this a squeeze so I can clean that green out of it, so I'm not getting green in my pecan. And let me make sure this is dry. It still feels a little damp. All right. So I'm going to take a tiny little bit of the pecan, and we're going to put a little bit in here, down the center of our leaf. So can you see that? And this just makes it look so realistic. So it's very, very diluted. It's very diluted. But it just gives a little bit darker. Let me lift that up. So can you see it's got that little bit of that pecan in there? We can add a little bit more. But it just gives that leaf just this extra little color to it. I just love that. And if you want, we can add a little bit more green over top of the brown. So you can still see that brown under there. But now we've added a little bit more of the dark green. So if you don't have the water painters, definitely put them in your shopping cart. Like that. All right. Then I'm going to put a little bit more pecan. So it's fun. It's almost like when I say with the blend, you can keep playing, you can keep playing. Well, watercoloring is kind of like that too. You can play for a while. You don't want to play too much and then things get muddy. But I always am like, you know, we're not brain surgeons. If you get it too muddy, you just start over. All right, so I like the look of that. My leaves look good. I am going to bring my blueberry over, and I am going to put a little bit more of the dark. So now that the blueberries have dried, I want to come back and add a little bit more. I just want to make sure I'm not too close to those leaves in case they're wet. But I want to put a little, because it's dried now, so it's soaked in, so I can see that. I just want to add a little bit here and there. But I do like the little skinny brush because I just have a little bit more control over it. But you don't want to just load up that brush. You just want to put a little bit. There we go. So that looks good. Okay. I think I like that. You're like, just leave it alone. Stop messing with it. All right. Yeah, I'm done. So she says. Okay. So here we have our beautiful little watercolor blueberries. Aren't they so cute? Now, if you have a gel pen, you could add some white gel pen, which I did on here. All right, so let's put our card together. I'm going to throw this away so I'm not getting that wet on my card anywhere. All right. So let's put our card together. So I used Lemon Lolly as my card base. And I've used vanilla on the inside of the card because the watercolor paper it's got like a cream kind of look to it. So this is a piece of basic white. And then this is watercolor paper. So see what I mean? I mean, it's hard to tell on camera just because I think my camera fixes it. And then here's vanilla. So the watercolor paper and the vanilla kind of go together a little bit better. So I usually grab vanilla for the inside just because of that. If you don't have vanilla, don't worry about it. You can certainly use the white. But I wouldn't put, unless you're coloring the inside of your card, unless you're stamping and watercoloring the inside of your card, I would not put a full sheet of watercolor paper in your card like I'm doing this vanilla, just because it doesn't make sense to, and it would be, personally, it would be too expensive. I mean, the watercolor paper isn't expensive, but you don't want to waste a full sheet of watercolor paper almost, like just for the inside of your card. So I just used the vanilla. All right, so that's going to go on the inside here. Okay. So that's going to go on the inside, and then you can write your little note. But if you are, if you're going, oh, I want to put, watercolor some blueberries for the inside too, then you certainly could, put your watercolor paper in there. All right, so I'm just putting this on that deckled circle, and I love that it just frames that stylish shapes so well. All right, then we have our lemon lime twist, and this is that amazing designer series paper. Oh my gosh, I use this all the time. That Masterfully, is it Masterfully? Hold on a minute, where's my little Masterfully? This is what I do with that back. Yes, Masterfully. So I just cut the back, that white paper that's on the back of your DSP. I just cut it into 4x4, and then I just put it on a ring, and then I can, and it hangs right here by my desk. But it's just easier for me to go, what colors were with that? All right, so Masterfully Made, that's what this is. It is such a pretty paper. So I liked this one. It has that dark blueberry look up there, almost Night of Navy look. And then it comes down to these pretty light colors. Okay, so that's going to go on there. And I am going to be putting some of the black and very vanilla, whatchamacallit, gingham, large gingham. You know me. Oh my gosh. I love this ribbon. I'm using it like everywhere. All right. So we're going to put some of this on the bottom. I'm going to put this on here first so I can make sure I put that in the right spot. All right. So I'm going to use some dimensionals to put this on the card. Make sure I'm half straight here. I hit the camera half the time and all my excitement. There we go. Is that better? Oh, dear, dear. All right. Okay. Oop, wrong one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So put our pretty little blueberries. So this is what I mean. If that hello there is a little crooked, it's not a big deal because you can just wiggle that circle to how you want it. So I love it. Aren't those blueberries beautiful? Okay, so we're going to put this on here, and I'm just going to use some glue dots that I have rewound, and they've fallen off of the the cardboard that I put them on. When you've been a demonstrator for 25 years like me, I'm always like, it takes a lot for an old dog to learn a new trick. And those glue dots being on the other side of the spool, it's still is hard to get used to. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little tape on the back here. And this will just make sure that, because I'm going to tie that other ribbon on here, and I just want to make sure that it's good and secure. All right, so since I have the ribbon here, I'm going to also put this on with some dimensionals too, just because that ribbon takes up some space, and we want this to be really stuck to our card. Excuse me. All right, so this is going to go on here. Looks pretty good. All right, then we're going to take this little guy, we're going to put it in here, we're just going to tie it in a knot. So by doing it off the spool, I hardly waste any ribbon at all. The only thing I'll waste is cutting these, you know, at a point. So then all I've wasted is these two little pieces here. And if I was really, really careful, I probably wouldn't have wasted any at all. All right, so there's our cute little blueberries. Now, if we want to put some bling, I have the bling on my desk from yesterday. And these are the rainbow adhesive back dots. And those are the ones that I used on the It's a Good Day cards yesterday. And these are also the goodies for the month of February. So when you place a qualifying order, which is $75 before tax and shipping in the month, you can pick goodies or guts. And these are the goodies. So I'm going to, this has so many fun little colors. It's kind of like, oh, what do I use? Right? Because I've got lemon here. This is like a lemon, which might be kind of fun in here. But then we've got like this pool. And this has got pool in there. We've even got some red, some pink. So let's see. I think I'm going to go with the yellow because I've got the lemon here on my card base. But I don't really have any lemon color necessarily on my blueberries. So I'm just going to grab a couple of these. And then it's just going to, you know, kind of emphasize and draw your attention to that yellow. So we have 1, 2, 3. Come on, baby. 3, 4. And they really show up on that really, really dark blue. And then we'll do one more. All right. So look how cute. Now the one I did before, the one I did for class, is this one here. So they got the iridescent gems. So they got a pack of those. So they used a different bling, but you know, any bling is good. And like I said, I did add some little gel pens. So if you do have a gel pen, if you're doing my spring social, you have one of those in your little box. I do just grab these off of Amazon, but I could put a little gel pen here and there. You just want to make sure that this is good and dry before you start doing that. It just adds a little highlight. Since this one is a lot darker, you can see it more than this one where I had the blueberries a little bit different. But anyway, so there is that card. So let me know what you think. Let me know. Let me say see you later, alligator first. See you later, alligator. All right. So let me know if you like. I like to color with any medium. And blends, watercoloring, pencils. You know, we have those chalk. I don't know what they're called. Those are a little hard for me, so I don't do those often. But let me know what you like. If you like to see me color with the blends, if you like watercoloring, what you would like to see more of. I love to have your suggestions because it definitely helps me come up with ideas so that you don't get bored or you don't feel like I show the same thing all the time. Because I do. I mean, I could sit and color all day long. That is just what I love to do. It just is peaceful. And if you have a stressful day, I just love to sit and color. All right, so I'm going to stop blabbing so that I can get this video uploaded. If you have any questions at all, make sure you let me know. Otherwise, I will see you Friday for my dies shorts, and I should have the rest of the online exclusives that I don't know why I didn't just order them all at once. But I think I missed some things because they were like online. So I think I like totally just missed some of them. Because when I went back to put that second order in, I'm like, why didn't I order that? I don't remember seeing that. So who knows? But anyway, so that will be Friday, 3 o'clock, Arizona time, same channel. So have a great night, and I will see you Friday. All right. Bye for now.